Horror has been in video games for a long time, yet it wasn't until 1996 with Resident Evil that we got the true survival horror experience and the genre became solidified. A genre that would not just give us grotesque imagery and creepy atmosphere or music, it would also terrify us by giving us jump scares and heart-pounding scenarios. Before survival horror became what it was, video games were limited to what they could do, and horror games would mostly be either a platformer, role-playing game, or something else. For example, Castlevania is an action platformer with horror elements. The classic Sweet Home was a role-playing dungeon game, but the setting was a haunted house. Splatterhouse and Night Slashers were beat-em-up games in a horror setting. When I was a child, my friends played Splatterhouse and Mortal Kombat, both gory games with blood. However, they weren't scary to me, but there was one game way before Resident Evil that I considered the ultimate zombie game. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Developed by LucasArts and published by Konami, Zombies was a top-down shooter, but to me, it was a survival horror. For kids. To me, as a child, this was Resident Evil before Resident Evil. You can choose between two characters, a boy called Zeke or a girl named Julie. You can also play this on two-player in a pair play mode as you work together. The world of the game is ravished by monster attacks thanks to the mad scientist Dr. Tong, and it's up to our protagonist to beat the monsters and rescue the neighbors. You start in the suburbs and your default weapon to attack the zombies is a water gun with holy water inside it. For some reason as a kid I thought the zombies were made from radioactive material, and that the water inside your weapon was some kind of liquid that would turn to acid once it hits their skin. I don't know, I just thought like that. But yeah, anyway, you move around the level shooting zombies, but also you will find regular people, your neighbors. They can be a man in the swimming pool, little girl, dog, a baby, or your most disliked school teacher who kept giving you bad marks. You have to rescue them and get points to clear the level. If they all die, you lose the game. The less people you save, the harder the next level becomes, so it's important to save as many as you can. But this game isn't just about zombies. You have a variety of creatures, all inspired by folklore and 1950s monster movies, such as vampires, mummies, fishman from The Creature from the Black Lagoon, werewolves, alien from Mars, flesh-eating blobs, and more. There's a lot of monsters. There's even some slasher-inspired enemies too, mostly inspired by the classic 50s horror movies back in the day. If you save all the neighbors you can save in a level, some random door opens out of nowhere that allows you to go to the next stage. There are many stages from malls, schools, factories, castles and catacombs. I think a total of 48 or maybe 49 stages. It's a lot of stages. By traversing the stages, you'll be able to find keys, items and ammunition. Some of these include health packs, inflatable decoy clown, they were popular back in the 90s, I don't know why, and a potion that turns you into a strong monster. Some potions turn you into a zombie too, and there's another potion that gives you invincibility. Yeah, the potions are pretty cool. The weapons are tongue-in-cheek, yet correspond to the monster's weaknesses. Silverware, knife, and forks are used against werewolves as they are weak to silver. Vampires are weak to crucifixes. The weed whacker kills plant creatures. The china plates, I don't know what the plates are for. You throw them and the shards hit them. I don't know. But it's cool. You have to save and use your weaponry effectively in order to survive. Not having the right weapon for the right monster can make things difficult. Heck, here's something Resident Evil should have. If you see a locked door, you'll have to find a key to open it. However, if you have a bazooka, you can just blast the door open, no problem. You can blow unstable walls too, or hedges in hedge mazes. However, you're one shot less when up against a strong monster or boss, so you have that variety to choose. That level of detail and choice is something I thought was amazing in this game. This game to me was scary, and the closest to survival horror for kids. For example, in level 4, you're in a hedge maze being chased by masked psycho chainsaw murderers, and you could hear them rev up the chainsaw before you see them. This terrified me. My heart was coming out of my mouth. In the PAL version, they had axes. This is basically Dr. Salvador, the chainsaw dude from Resident Evil before Resident Evil 4 came out. They kind of look like Jason from Friday the 13th. And for some reason at the time, maybe a Mandela effect, many thought Jason killed with a chainsaw in one of his movies, but he never did. I guess people were confusing Jason with Leatherface at the time. The more where you see dolls swinging axes, the fear of a zombie of monsters coming closer and closer to its victim as you desperately run to save them. Going up to one of the people you need to save to instantly turn into a werewolf. Monsters jumping out of the water and over the hedges. All these things were scary. It didn't help that all the monsters respawned, making you run constantly like a blonde girl from a masked killer. A sequel was made in 1994 called Girl Patrol. It was basically the same thing, but the monster designs were more basic and generic, like a slime monster, ghost, etc., not based on horror movies or folklore. The gameplay to Girl Patrol didn't have the charm or artistry like zombies had. Movement was slower, there was a jump button, obnoxious traps, and some design changes the fans didn't like, including myself. In October 2009, the Super Nintendo version of Zombies came to the Wii Virtual Console. Later, both Zombies Ate My Neighbors and its sequel Girl Patrol came out in 2021 with a limited run release on modern consoles. This version was more of a collector's item, but sadly it's not a good port. It has one save slot, no HD filters, no rewind function. You can't even change or customize the button layout on your controller. It's a bit glitchy too, so yeah, it's not recommended. Probably best to emulate it for a high caliber experience. There's never been a remake to this game, although the closest we got to it as a spiritual sequel is probably Capcom's Dead Rising and Resident Evil's Mercenaries mode, both fun arcade type games. Oh, by the way, there's a mod that gives a Zombies a Doom-like makeover, so check that out if you're interested. So that's all I can say about Zombies Ate My Neighbors. It's a great horror game for children and I highly recommend it. Like, if you have children and you're into horror, it's a must play. I really wish they do a remake of this. It would be cool. But yeah, this was Resident Evil before Resident Evil for me, and I loved it. And yeah, it's the 30th anniversary of Zombies Ate My Neighbors, so this video should hopefully come out by that time. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, and please like the video, share it if you must. I would appreciate that. And tell me what's your favorite horror game or your favorite retro horror game. And if you have played Zombies Ate My Neighbors, why do you like it or why do you dislike it? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.